Often, we're involved with working with the aviation team, professional development, coaching, in general HR issues. An area that we oftentimes end up coaching our clients with is professional development. It's part of the normal executive world. In fact, in aviation, very few aviation professionals have had true professional development. They're very good at technical training. They follow external standards, ISBEO, BASC, FAA requirements, but oftentimes do not think about what's it take to be a leader. How do I need to develop myself? In fact, they have very robust training programs, but technically focused. When we work with clients, oftentimes when there's been a challenge at the aviation team, it's not because of a lack of technical knowledge. It generally focuses around who they are as leaders, how they communicate, and their understanding of the business. It really highlights the criticality of professional development for aviation leaders. If you think about it, the traditional aviation professional joins their career at a young age, either as a technician, a scheduler, or a pilot. They work in a team that looks just like themselves. Their career progresses. In 10 years, they might get a supervisory role, and they manage people which look just like themselves. Maybe 20 years into their career, they finally get appointed as the leader of the aviation team, and they lead a team just like themselves. But now they're asked to spend time downtown, to meet with finance, to meet with legal. And while they seem incredibly articulate about the weather, they oftentimes have not been given the skills and the perspective that make them successful business leaders that they now need as an aviation leader. So when we think about what are the deficiencies or challenges we see in aviation leaders, it usually hinges around a few areas. The first being communication. The ability to communicate in the written word and verbally, to build a business case, to build a presentation. We also see challenges around general business acumen, basic financial management, understanding of accounting principles. One of the other areas we oftentimes see is a basic understanding of HR law. They've not been exposed to many of the experiences that you as executives have been exposed to in the development of your career. Interviewing has oftentimes been just a cursory process. So how do we address these deficiencies? The first is we really encourage our clients to develop a comprehensive professional development program that's tied to performance management. It's a collaborative conversation involving the aviation leader, your HR professional, and the executive whom aviation reports. We really encourage the development of slating programs, the development of future leaders. Have that conversation. Don't be assumptive. One of the challenges we've seen, and it's traditional in our industry, is aviation leadership usually falls to the most senior pilot. As a pilot myself, I can tell you that some of the things that make us really good pilots don't necessarily make us really good leaders of teams. We tend to have very short attention spans. Oftentimes, one of the best leaders for your aviation team may not have ever flown an airplane. They oftentimes come up the maintenance track. It's a trend we oftentimes see now where the maintenance leader is now elevated to the leader of the aviation team. An important part of professional development is really doing an assessment, evaluating where's your team today, what are their knowledge strengths, their skill strengths, and their deficiencies. And we really encourage aligning that with the same skill sets and knowledge that you would expect of any executive downtown. There are a number of very good aviation leadership programs that are available to put in your toolbox. The first being Darden. It's at the University of Virginia. It's part of the business school, but they offer 3 classes now focused on aviation leadership, financial management, and change management. Additionally, at Georgia State, at the Robinson School of Business, there is an aviation leadership class. It's slightly different than the Darden program. It addresses who leaders are as individuals. And finally, there's an excellent program being developed at Weatherhead. That's the school at Case Western Reserve University, and it's focusing on communication, change management, with an aviation, a business aviation perspective. One of the things that we've seen that makes aviation leaders incredibly powerful is when they go and get an executive MBA from a non-aviation program. I would say we have a bias toward those type of individuals. They've learned to think strategically outside their aviation box. There are a number of good aviation MBA programs, but they tend to be a little bit prescriptive. We find great value in executive education. Roll the aviation leader into your corporate programs. They will learn a lot by doing that. At the end of the day, I would encourage you to get to know your aviation team, evaluate where they stand today, and develop a plan with intentionality about helping them grow to be the leaders that are going to make your company successful.